name's Erin. I have been in recovery since 6/17/15. I grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona. My mom got into recovery when I was 4.5 years old, and I pretty much grew up in AA. I had a great life. I had my mom and my grandma and my dad, and it was a good life. I didn't have a crappy childhood. I wasn't surrounded by drugs and alcohol. I was surrounded by people who had found recovery. I discovered sex, drugs, and alcohol in the same month at the age of 16, and I hit the ground running. The first time that I drank, I was 16, but I don't remember any of it because I was completely blacked out. On the weekends, I would party and get drunk, and alcohol just opened my eyes to the fact that I could have fun. I never felt connected to people before it. I didn't feel like anybody really understood me or wanted me around, and it was just kind of like this warm place that I could be where I just felt comfortable in my skin. And then I discovered ecstasy, and became like a 3-4 times a week kind of thing. I dropped out of school when I was halfway through my junior year. I decided I don't need school, I can just have a job and I can work and have my own place, and it worked for a little while. Almost every night of the week. It wasn't a party anymore. I mean, every day was a party, really. And it was early in the night, like it was only like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like ready to puke. And I was like, somebody give me some Coke. I heard that helps you drink longer. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. This is it. This is the homeland. And so then that became a regular every weekend. One time I ended up accidentally doing a line of meth because I thought it was Coke, and that was like a turning point. At that point, I needed it every day. Everything that I was looking for was in this little tiny bag, and it was clear and it was perfect. I weighed 97 pounds. I didn't see an issue. Like, I still didn't see that like maybe the drugs were the problem. It was the people that I was around that were the problem. Like, I needed to do drugs with better people. I actually found out that I was pregnant, and years prior to that, I made a promise to God, one of those like Hail Mary, save me kind of things. Like, if I ever get pregnant, like, I'll stop. I won't do it anymore. I'll be done. And like, that was like a secret joke with me because I knew I couldn't, because I had lots of doctors tell me it wasn't an option for me. It was never going to happen. Found out I was pregnant in February. I stopped using meth in March, and I continued to occasionally smoke weed and drink wine. Did that all the way up until June 17th of 2015. And then I got on a plane a month later, a little less than a month later, and came back to Alaska. So recovery was here for me because it was where I felt connected to people. And like, I've constantly been feeling like I'm chasing this connection, like I'm constantly trying to connect with someone. And there was people that I had known when I lived here in 2009 and 2010 that accepted me back in. Like, I'm so glad you're back. We've missed you so much. I'm so glad to see you're here. That kind of connection that I was constantly searching for. This was like the only place I ever found that. I got a real sponsor. Like, I got one that was gonna call me out and not placate me and not allow me to manipulate her. I worked the steps. I worked with other people. I chose to be around people who were enjoying recovery and learning about themselves and growing, and I wanted that this time. Like, I wanted it for myself. Initially, I just wanted it because I promised God, and I was not trying to go back on that promise. But then eventually I wanted it for myself, and I'm just really grateful that I had the connection and the community around me to support me, because it wasn't easy in the beginning. Like, my first 3 months of recovery, I was hormonal in third trimester. Like, that's not going to be an easy thing to get through. And then after that, I had a newborn, and I had support of people that I had support of someone who had just recently met me, a bunch of someones who had just recently met me. Like, that, if that doesn't scream, I'll love you until you love yourself, I don't know what does. My life is not even comparable. Like, it's like I'm living in an alternate universe because of how completely and utterly different it is. Like, there's nothing to compare it to because it's never been this good. I got to help open an organization that meets people where they're at. It's about how we can help. And my favorite part of my day when I get to now is to just go and hang out and chat with any of the clients. And it makes me feel alive when I see other people coming to life from their addiction.